favourite one. This is Chesh from Cheshire Plays Games, and this is going to be a little montagey thingy about yesterday's Commander. So I actually travelled a 3-hour round trip to my favourite, and I guess I should also clarify that they sponsor the channel, but they are my favourite store by far when it comes to Magic the Gathering and gaming stuff, and that of course is guf.com.au. So definitely go and check them out and tell them that Chesh and the crew sent you. So yesterday I went and played Commander Legends in their store. Their store is fantastic. There's some shots of the store in this as well. Well-stocked store, great staff, always pleasant to go and play at. And the other thing is that I have to really mention is that 90% of their players are actually really, really bloody nice as well. Not to say that there's a 10% margin of error, right? I mean, I don't like kids. So, there's always going to be 2 kids in a draft group. And it's one of those things, right? Now I sound like an asshole. Great. I think I'm just going to leave that in. What is coming up is my deck tech. I'll do a little thingy around what I drafted, which was this magnificent vampire lad. This is Nevinrel Urbo Tyrant. You might know Nevinrel from Nevinrel's disc from like forever. I think like Alpha, Beta, Unlimited Revised. and I think all the way into 4th edition Alpha, Beta, Limited, Revised. I was sure of it. You know what? Nevinrel's disc, look it up. Nevinrel is pretty much like that legendary creature zombie wizard, interestingly enough. He is a 3/6 hexproof from artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. When Nevinrel Urbo Tyrant enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. Fleshbag Marauder worked fantastic with this. When Nevinrel dies, you may pay 1 colorless, and when you do, destroy all artifact, creatures, and enchantments. It's a board wipe. It's a Nevinrel's disc on a stick. I guess because Nevinrel and Nevinrel's disc, so it makes sense, right? So my thing that I need to say here is that drafting this initially I thought was going to be the worst thing in the world. I did. Sorry, Wizards. However, turns out this is one of the coolest draft environments I've ever had the pleasure of playing in. So actually, kudos, Wizards. You actually did real good. So I would suggest that you go out to your friendly local game store, or if you're in Melbourne, go out to your friendly Gulf and pick yourself up some Commander Legends. Hashtag not sponsored by Wizards. Yeah, but no, I really enjoyed myself. We'll actually cover this off on Commander Crunch this weekend, so the next episode of Commander Crunch will be us waxing lyrical about our experiences with Commander Legends, and I'll tell a little tale about how I almost beat the clock, because, yeah. So, when it comes down to it, Wizards didn't kind of tell anyone how to actually run the tournaments. And a lot of the promo material didn't say it either, other than the fact that it was Commander, so a lot of places were trying to do 1v1. Don't do that. It's optimized for 4-player, even I know that. Just don't. Here in Melbourne we had some problems because of COVID. We did manage to get some pods going, like pods of 4 yesterday at the draft, luckily. But it was still a very pleasant play experience, and I very, very much absolutely love this set. Did I get value out of my, like, $30 Oz for going in a draft? Yeah, absolutely. Not just for, as dicky as it sounds, the friendships made, and, finally being able to go out and actually visit my sponsor in the flesh after, like, 9 months of not being able to leave a 5-kilometer radius. But also just because it's a great set, and I did have my reservations. Like everyone else, I'm a massive Commander player, and I had my reservations. It works. It works, and I don't know why it works, because it doesn't make sense to work, but it works. So it's obvious that Wizards have put in a lot of time. So thank you very much, Guff, for inviting me, and we will catch up soon. Onto like montage. Good morning. I am Chesh from Chesh Breaks. It's like 9 a.m. But I had pizza yesterday and everyone was gross. My work was celebrating and they bought everyone a pizza. Not my choice. Absolutely not. So today we're going to be taking a trip to GUF Werribee now that restrictions are mostly lifted, as you can see. And we're going to be going there. It's about a 1.5 hour trip. We'll be recording some Commander Legends gameplay, some drafting, and should be a good time. So, montage. Alright, let's go through this deck tech for Nevinral. So as you can see here, Nevinral is 3 colors, a white, a blue, and a black for legendary creature, zombie wizard, hexproof from artifacts, creatures, enchantments. When Nevinral enters the battlefield, create a tapped 2/2 black zombie creature token for each creature that died this turn. We have some ways to enable this. You'll have to excuse me because there is a storm going on outside with a lot of wind. When Nevinral dies, however, you may pay 1, and when you do, you can destroy all artifacts, creatures, and enchantments. We also have a way to use that ability as well. The first thing I should point out is with this deck, we do have a single copy of Victimize, so at key moments you can actually just use Victimize and just wipe the board, which is fantastic. But we do have a Viscera Seer So this, of course, is going along with the wizard side of things. This is Vampire Wizard 1/1, sacrifice a creature to scry 1. Really helpful when you want Nevinral to wipe the board out. So that is extremely helpful. We, of course, have 2 copies of Spark Harvest. Remember that this is Commander Legends Draft, so you can play multiple copies. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature, or pay a lot more mana that we don't want to pay. So these are both fantastic with our Commander, so that we can possibly just wipe the entire board of everything and start afresh. Speaking of wiping the board, I'm going to give you a shiny flash baggy boy. Look at how shiny that boy is. But not just one, not just 2, but somebody in the draft allowed me to get all 3 of these flesh bag marauders. So when Marauder enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature. So this works really well in our favor if we don't want to use this as a creature for attacking and blocking, and we just want to play it and sacrifice it to wipe the board. The amount of times, early turns, that I was able to just set everyone back by wiping the board once or twice with flesh bags was fantastic. Alright, speaking of great removal, Fetters is back in this set. 3 colors and a white enchant creature. Enchant permanent, I should say. When Fetters enters the battlefield, you gain 4 life. So it gives us a little bit of life, which is great in this draft environment. Enchanted permanent can't attack or block, and its activated abilities can't be activated unless they're mana abilities. We also had 2 Deathly Demise. Now, we don't really have ways of, I guess, milling ourselves, which is kind of sad. I was trying to get some mill stuff so that we could get these working better, but they organically were working just fine, especially when we were wiping the table constantly. 1 copy of Murder, because destroy any creature for 3 is amazing. We have Iona's Judgment, 4 colors and a white for a sorcery, exile target creature or enchantment. We have the good old Return to Dust, 2 colors, 2 white, instant, exile target artifact or enchantment. If this is cast during your main phase, then you can do an extra. So that's great. That's fine. That's fine. It's good. It's good. It's very good. Alright, so Encore is a really weird ability, and this has a lot of text, so we'll try and cover this wizardy boy. So, Arami of the Dead Tide, this is 1 color, a blue and a black. Legendary creature Merfolk Wizard. Tap and exile cards from your graveyard equal to the number of opponents you have. So, 3 opponents? Target creature card in your graveyard gains Encore until the end of turn. The Encore cost is equal to its mana cost. Now, I was playing the big Phyrexian boy that I've now traded away and isn't in this deck. But I got to, at one stage, actually get the 3 big 9/9s on board. And they create a 3/3 golem. So that was really good. That's a fantastic card in this deck. Next up, we want to talk more about Encore and how it wins your games. So 2 colors and a white, flying. Whenever Kangaroos Lieutenant attacks, attacking creatures with flying get +1/+1 until the end of turn. Our deck doesn't have a whole lot of creatures in it, but it has enough to Encore, and then it has enough flying stuff that it should be able to wipe out the board. Remember, when these come in, you've got 3 opponents. So when you Encore this, 3 of those lieutenants are going to attack. 3 triggers of +1/+1. They all become 4/4s. It's just solid. Speaking of solid, and speaking of Encore and flyers, we do have a Kitesail Skirmisher. So this is a human pirate 3/1 with flying. Whenever it attacks another target creature attacking the same player or planeswalker gains flying until the end of turn. So I got to Encore this and Encore that together. This is just stupid. And then gave other creatures attacking the same players flying and then hitting people with an entire army. Again, something to just maybe think about. Alrighty. We have Exquisite Huntmaster. This is an Elf Warrior 4/2. When the Huntmaster dies, create a 1/1 green Elf Warrior creature token with Encore of a black and 4. So encoring it back, hitting everyone with your 4/2s, and then creating 1/1 green elf warriors to soak up damage is pretty cool. Because of our encore and playing stuff out of the graveyard, we have a laboratory Drudge. So this is 3 colors and a blue for a zombie horror 3/4. At the beginning of each end step, draw a card if you've cast a spell from a graveyard or activated an ability of a card in a graveyard this turn. Just extra card draw. Speaking of extra card draw, you become the Monarch. Pirates make you Monarch. I don't know why, but that's just cool. 1 blue and 3 colors for a 3/3 human pirate. When it enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch, and it can't be blocked by creatures the Monarch controls. Somebody else becomes Monarch. You can just thud them and take the Monarch back. It's fantastic. Speaking of Monarch, we do have a Thorn of the Black Rose. This is a human assassin with Death Touch 1/3. When Thorn of the Black Rose enters the battlefield, you become the Monarch. Great blocker. Next up is how we were trying to basically kill our opponents. I think this is going to come as a very little surprise that a lot of these creatures are flying, and a lot of it is just other stuff. The first one is stealing your opponent's big bad so you can kill the table is always funny. So confiscate 4 colors and a blue. Enchant permanent you control enchanted permanent. We have a stupid big Maelstrom Colossus. This is 8 mana for a 7/7 with Cascade. Then we have a Body of Knowledge. This is a 3 colors and 2 blue for an Avatar XX. Its power and toughness are each equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size, and whenever Body of Knowledge is dealt damage, draw that many cards. So, you know, it's fine. It's a killer if you can make it unblockable with the many ways to do that in Commander Legends, which is hilarious. Next up, we have Radiant Serra Archangel. This is 3 colors and a white for a 6/4 with flying. Tap another untapped creature you control with flying, and then Radiant Serra Archangel gains protection from the color of your choice until the end of turn and has partner, but we don't care. We also have Siami Eye of the Storm. This is a Jin Monk 3/2 with flying, and when it attacks you, scry X, where X is the number of attacking creatures with flying. Pretty good in the new Sphinx scry deck, hey? Speaking of Sphinx, we have a Horizon Scholar. This is 5 colors and a blue for a Sphinx. Just focus for me, buddy. Just focus. When the Scholar enters the battlefield, scry 2 with a 4/4. We also have a Revenant. 4 colors and a black for a Spirit with flying, and power and toughness equal to the number of creatures in your graveyard. Last, but definitely not least, but certainly least, is 5 colors and 1 blue for a Horizon Scholar. Flying 4/4 when Horizon Scholar enters the battlefield, scry 2. So basically my aim was to disrupt the board enough to keep wiping creatures out and then win with flying if I could. And Encore just proved to be way stronger than I thought it was, and I probably should have got more Encore into this particular deck. But this commander didn't come around until Draft Pack 2. Aim for 2 colors is what I'm going to say to you. Removal is a premium, so snap up all that removal early unless you find like a really good creature that you need to have. Remembering that 2 picks per pack makes it pretty easy, and I had a really fun time, and I hope that you enjoyed this. We didn't get any gameplay done, unfortunately, which we were going to try and do because of COVID, and we didn't know it was going to be separated tables and all that sort of stuff. There wasn't really enough space for us to set up, which is fine. So I hope you enjoyed the draft. I hope you enjoyed this quick draft deck tech, and I will catch you soon. Remember, like, comment, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and I don't care, you big beautiful geeks.